Hello and welcome back with a little bit of a twist. This is Dr. Nikki, and these are the sanctuary sessions. I want this to be an audio space where we slow down, think out loud, and come home to ourselves. I'm Dr. Nikki, and I want to talk today about what the sanctuary is, why it exists, and why this feels like the right moment to begin this conversation. If you are new, welcome. If you are a longtime fan and follower and member of my Pleasure Pursuers community, welcome back. And thank you again so much for continuing to stay on this journey with me. Um, I want to talk about where I've been. It is January 2026, and it's been a challenging road in the last several years, but particularly the last several months of 2025. Um, just were heavy with uncertainty and grief and stress, depression, um, confusion, just lack of clarity, all the things. And I didn't have the energy, the interest, the bandwidth, the passion, the drive to continue with my YouTube live series that I was doing. And so I stepped back altogether. And I'm coming back this year with clarity, and most importantly, with honoring, truly honoring, and prioritizing what I need and how I show up in relationship to my work, period, full stop. And what I realized was, huh, there are times in which what is required of me to be well, to take good care of myself, is totally misaligned with the demands of social media and engaging with my audience and marketing and running a business. And that is what happened for me between really September through late November of 2025. And so, although I was absent, it was intentional and it was so needed. I needed space to let my work catch up with my life. And I'm coming back with so much clarity. What I realized is that in the newness of being an entrepreneur, along with all of the other changes that were happening in my personal life, I had really gotten away from getting still, getting quiet, honoring what I most need. And in some ways, I've also learned that I didn't even really fully know how to even begin to honor what I most needed, especially in this entrepreneurial journey and wanting to connect with my audience and not knowing how to do so from an authentic place for me in a environment that feels so fast and so reactive and so overstimulating and overwhelming. And as much as I loved my YouTube live series and hope that maybe I'll come back to it at one day, the idea of getting this studio set up, putting on makeup, thinking about what I was going to wear, figuring out the thumbnail, all the things, it took away from the joy and the clarity of just talking. And so here we have the sanctuary sessions. I am moving into this audio only format, one, because my branding has changed. And so I want to get more into what the sanctuary is and why the sanctuary is and why I feel like it's so important now. But two, this allows me to show up consistently without feeling compromised, without feeling overwhelmed, and to really honor my energy level from week to week. So I hope you're able to enjoy the ride with me, continue to take the journey with me if you've been here before. And if you're new, I hope you really find something here that you need, that resonates with you, that helps you feel affirmed, helps you feel seen and valued, to make you know that you are not alone and that there are kindred spirits out in the world looking for and trying to create this very existence that I'm trying to create for myself here. So let's level set some expectations from what to expect weekly from the sanctuary sessions. I want these to be weekly audio conversations. Some of them may be structured, some of them may be a bit rambly, exploratory, curiosity, thinking thoughts out loud, right? But always my offerings will be rooted in my expertise in education and training in psychology. They will focus on intimacy, authenticity, self compassion, and pleasure. I don't want this to be advice. I don't want this to be hustle. I don't want this to be solution oriented. This is not content for optimization or virality. This is content for alignment. And so if you vibe with that, this is the space for you. So I had started talking about the soft life years ago when that was a really popular trending idea. And I had a strong reaction to it when I first heard the term the soft life, and much that I've had a strong reaction is the way that self care has been talked about. And so I really wanted to repackage that, and I started talking about these pillars of the soft life based on the work that I had been doing individually in my own therapy. That's going to always be primary for me, as well as my own spiritual development. But in the things and themes that I was hearing from my clients, the conversations I was having with my clients. And the sanctuary is really evolution of those original ideas. I can't even tell you exactly the alchemy that moved me from then to now, but I can tell you that I've never been more clear, more impassioned, more convicted about how all of these pieces fit together and why they are so vitally important for Black women, in specific, high achieving Black women. I kind of want to go so far as to say, in specific, neurodivergent, high achieving Black women, but I don't have the data to back that up just yet. But that is a strong theory that I am kind of rocking with these days. But the sanctuary is really a framework, it's not a fix. It is an offering of a set of processes, ideas, concepts, experiences that I think are extremely resonant across the experiences of high achieving Black women. And they are authenticity, self compassion, intimacy, and pleasure. So, some of this won't sound new at all to you if you've been following me, rocking with me, if you've ever worked with me before, you've heard me talk about these things. What we're going to do in the sanctuary sessions and where I'm headed in this next phase of my career, my life, my work, is to continue to think about how all of these pieces really do fit together and how we can use them to reclaim our full, whole, most human, alive selves. And so the sanctuary really is about coming home to yourself. It's about coming home to yourself. Think about that. Think about how much of your life feels co opted, stolen, um, uh, imposed, uh, responsible, um, maybe even you have resentment about, and how much of your life really feels like it doesn't even belong to you anymore. And so I want the sanctuary at every point along the way to be about honoring yourself. And the process is about coming home to yourself. And that includes unmasking, reconnecting with what's really important, first internally and then interpersonally and in your community with the things that really matter for you. It's also about choosing alignment over performance. And it's this last piece that really is what has moved me from the YouTube live series that I was doing and TikTok and all the other ways that I was showing up in the social media landscape to where I am now. That I really am leaning into trusting my own sense of knowing, trusting the universe, trusting my Ori, my spirit, to guide me to find the right people that this aligns with and resonates with. That I want to show up fully and completely, as authentically as possible. And I'm hesitating because I don't want you to think that authenticity means full access to all parts of me, right? I still want to maintain my own sense of privacy in myself, but what I mean by that is like honoring that I don't move fast. I'm not very reactive. I hate trends. I don't always like the way I look on camera. I don't always have a hot take. I have lots of thoughts, some of them incomplete. I don't always have advice. Some of them are just um, thoughts, reflections, resonances, and feelings. And I want to honor that. I don't want to lean into the rapid pace, easy fix, quick solution, hot take, virality that is the landscape of social media. You won't find any of that here. What I hope you will find is a place where you can come home to yourself. And when you leave the sanctuary each week, you feel more aligned with your truest self. Okay? What do we think about that? I really would like for this to be a conversation. So definitely feel free to put comments, engage. I want to hear more from you. I really want this to be a conversation because I get so much feedback. This is the way. I recently did the Clifton Strength Finder again. I had done it probably like 10 years ago, maybe even longer. And I did it again as part of this leadership um, cohort that I'm a part of this year. And I got ideation again in my top five. And ideation is all about um, thinking things through, right? Like having all of the having all the ideas all at once. And that is kind of what I want this space to be, right? That our ability to my need to like get clarity and think through by talking out loud, by running this mouth, not only allows me to continue to flesh things out, but to hear myself differently and hopefully find points of resonation with you, right? Um, yeah, ideation, I had to look it up, is a Clifton Strengths theme in the strategic thinking domain. It's defined by fascination with ideas, making connections between seemingly unrelated things, and a love for novelty and innovative concepts. Hello, the ADHD of it all, right? If that doesn't sound like me, I don't know what does. And so the sanctuary sessions will really be all about my ideation, okay? Um, why I think this is so important now. I recently started a Substack, and so please feel free to subscribe to my Substack because I want to be sharing more writing this year in addition to using this audio format as well. And what I posted yesterday was to find it. This moment, when the world seems to be falling apart into more absurdly inhumane pieces, is also the moment I feel the most grounded, aligned, optimistic, purposed, and joyful that I've felt in a long time. Yet this is the way it should be. The world cannot be made over whole from the top down. Never had, never will. It will be reimagined, redesigned, and rebuilt from the individual out. So I'm going to keep healing me and working in loving relationship to heal my clients while these unimaginative, power hoarding, small dicked, unlikable white men keep trying to figure it out. And that piece of the world being remade from the inside out is really why I think the sanctuary sessions are so important and why this work that I'm going to be doing this year with the sanctuary and my offerings is so important. Because I think we really have reached or are close to reaching the um, the tipping point between the fast-paced, relentless attempt to grind ourselves down, to crush ourselves into boxes, to automate ourselves, to dehumanize ourselves for the sake of capitalism, and lean into our full authenticity, our individuality, our slowness, our humanity, our beingness. I think we are collectively exhausted, like collectively exhausted. I think we are beyond burnout. I think that we all are carrying around so much, not just unresolved, but unacknowledged trauma, that we're in a place of so much disconnection and loneliness and anger and resentment and inflammation and overwhelm, overstimulation. And I really am wholesale trying to do as much as I can to divest from that. And the sanctuary is my offering for how to do that. I really believe that we are in a place of having way more of our internal revolution over any type of external, tangible, collective revolution. And I think that this one will actually be more powerful than previous iterations of social justice movements, of power movements, of rebellions. I think that our process now of going internal and healing and honoring our needs as human beings, of centering our absolutely biological needs for connection, for safety, our psychological well being, our spiritual wholeness. I think for those of us that have been doing this work, that are doing this work, we understand how much the change that happens from the inside out, when that is anchored and solidified and provides you with a different foundation, it helps navigate the external craziness so much more easily. It helps you identify it so much more quickly, right? It creates so much more clarity of the boundary of, like, yeah, not doing that, that's nuts. Because when you know what it's like to be aligned, when you know what it's like to be regulated in your body, when you know what it's like to feel at peace and grounded and safe and whole in your body, you also know the things that take you out of that, that dysregulate you, that overstimulate you, that inflame you, that harm you, that cause you to feel not good, to bring you out of alignment. And the longer you stay focused on healing in that alignment, honoring yourself, looking at things from the perspective that it's all made up. So I might as well go with what I want to make up for myself, for my best interest. The more you're able to do that, the longer you're able to do that, really the efficiency with which you're able to identify the bullshit and the crazy increases, and the more resistance you have to that also increases. And so the work that I've been doing in individual therapy with my clients over these last several years, the work that I've been doing on myself in my own therapy and healing over this last couple of years, has really been highlighting that awareness that this revolution is internal. And I really do believe that people are done with coping, right? I think we're done with slapping band-aids on things. I think we recognize that burnout recovery is a bullshit marketing term. Um, that we're done with grinding, that we're done with self-abandonment. If any of this resonates with you, then you are my audience. And that's one of the things that I had to come to terms with over last year and moving into this year. Is everything ain't for everybody. And I've always known that, and I've been saying that, but I had to come to terms with that for myself. I am not every woman's audience. um, and I am for the people for whom any of this or all of this resonates. And I'm hoping that these sanctuary sessions sort of reaches out like a beacon across the world, so that we find each other. I want to be in relationship with you. I need to be in constant connection and relationship with people that are being in the world, seeing the world, choosing to live their lives the way that I am choosing to do so that we can be stronger together, that we can engage in collective healing, because I also feel that that is critically important. I've been a therapist for over 20 years. I've been doing individual therapy work um, since the late 90s. I've been in this full time private practice for the past 5 years. And here's the thing, I recognize the limitations of individual therapy work. There is absolutely a place for it. I love my therapist. Shout out to Dr. Teresa Jackson. I love that woman. I would not be this version of who I am without the beautiful work that she has collaborated with me on and supported me in over these last several years. And I will always believe and continue to champion for a space for that. And what I also know to be much more clear is that's not nearly enough. That we really are in a time where we need to be in collective connection, which is the intimacy component of the sanctuary. That we have to be in intentional, loving, compassionate, real relationship with one another, vulnerable relationship with one another. And I am hoping that the sanctuary sessions becomes a space where we can create that. This isn't about becoming someone new, right? This is about remembering who you were before everything got so loud. This is about coming back to the version of you that was unconditioned, unsocialized, that had the sense of confidence, no second guessing, because it was coming from such a genuine, authentic space. And so, if you're anything like me and you've had careers, you've worked in institutions, maybe you still are working in institutions and systems, you've gotten degrees, you've been a student in institutions and systems, you've put other people's needs before yours. It's been about conformity and complacency and compliance so that you could survive. And now you have reached the point where none of that feels nearly good enough, where actually it in fact sometimes makes you feel sick, where you want to scream out loud because it feels so unbearable to continue to go with the status quo. I'm talking about that version of you that existed before all of those compromises and all of those ways that you contorted and bent yourself, and all the ways that you told yourself later, or it's not so bad. I'm talking about that version of you. I'm hoping that the sanctuary provides us all with a framework to not only reconnect with that version of ourselves, but to harness all of the ashe and power of those versions of ourselves, and to add that to our collective wisdom, maturity, education, experience, expertise, and bring it into the now. It isn't about reinventing yourself, it is about reconnecting with your most authentic self in the power of your current self. Okay? So, what we have coming up this year with the sanctuary are going to be not only these sessions that will be weekly, but, and I'm continuing to see clients. I have an active private practice. I'm continuing to work with individuals. I'm not currently accepting new clients. I'm sorry, new couples, but I am currently accepting new individual clients. Let me be clear. Not currently accepting any more clients. But in addition to that, and honoring what I really feel called to do, is expanding my offers through the sanctuary, through workshops, deep dives, small group work, and VIP intensives. So, what I'm offering every quarter this year will be a live in person sanctuary workshop in Houston. So, if you're in Houston, be on the lookout. I'm excited. It's going to be one each quarter in which I'll work with you on all four aspects of the sanctuary. Again, they are authenticity, self compassion, intimacy, and pleasure. And the workshops will be a mix of education, of somatic work, of mindset stuff, and hopefully giving you some tools that will act as processes to help you continue to do the work for yourself around each of those things. And then each quarter, I'm going to also offer a virtual deep dive on one particular aspect of the sanctuary. And so the first one will be on authenticity. In quarter two, we're going to focus in on self compassion. Q3, we're going to focus in on intimacy. And Q4, we're going to focus in on pleasure in the deep dives. And then I'm going to offer a small group cohort. So if beyond this beacon that I'm sending out in the sanctuary sessions, beyond just hearing me ideate and having your own thoughts and ideas come up in listening, if you want to be in relationship with like-minded women to continue to do this work and just be in relationship and support each other, then the small group work will be the space for you to do that. And then if you want to do some more individual work, more specific and intentional individual work around any of these components, the authenticity, self-compassion, intimacy, and pleasure, then that will be what the VIP intensives are for you. So if you've heard anything in this ideation, this conversation, these musings today that resonate, these are the places where there will be opportunities for you to go deeper, for us to work together to be more slow and intentional about excavating all of the toxicity and bullshit and uh, calcified stuff that no longer serves you, and to think about opening up spaces to recall in the parts of you that you left behind and forgotten, to fertilize all of those parts of yourself that need more light and growth, and that it is ready to flourish, then these are the ways that you can do that with me. That's it. That's all, y'all. I want to keep these brief and pointed. I don't want to be doing a whole lot of stuff and bells and whistles right now. I'm going to leave it here and take what resonated and leave the rest. And I'll see you here again next week. As always, remember that pleasure is absolutely your birthright, right? You are worthy of all the joy. Take up space, honor your humanity. There is no one but you, like you, here at this time and space. So be that. The world needs that. And do it with joy, swag, and, a little bit of Black girl magic. Have a great rest of your week.